Have you ever walked away from a conversation with someone who was polite, friendly, and meant well, and still felt completely exhausted? Not angry, not offended, just empty. That's not social anxiety. And it's not introversion. It's your brain noticing something that most people never consciously register. A concept that is subtle. A concept that is invisible. This is called emotional mismatch. Nobody talks about this feeling because it sounds rude. But your nervous system does not care about being polite. It cares about alignment. And when you spend time around people who are operating on a different emotional frequency, your brain goes into overtime trying to translate, regulate, and fit in. In this video, we will be going over why some conversations drain you even when nothing bad happens. The neuroscience behind emotional mismatch. And why needing distance doesn't mean you're cold, it means you're accurate. Stay until the end, because the last insight changes how you will understand the concept of solitude. Your brain is always scanning. Not just words, but tone, timing, pauses, and body language. Most people simplify this process. They hear what is said and move on. However, your brain doesn't. It compares everything. When someone's words say I'm fine, but their energy says I'm tense, your brain notices. When someone laughs but their eyes don't match, your brain notices. Not because you're judgmental, but because inconsistency creates cognitive work. Every mismatch requires a correction. And when you are always in the process of correcting, it eventually turns to exhaustion. Some people simply receive emotion, it's just how they're built, while others have to translate it. Translation takes effort. If you're constantly adjusting your tone, your reactions, your expressions, just to keep the interaction smooth, your nervous system never gets time to relax. You're not connecting with the person, you're buffering. That's why shallow conversations hit harder than deep ones. Depth aligns signals, while on the flip side surface interaction fractures them. Not everyone processes this way though. Some people can sit in misaligned conversations and feel absolutely nothing. Their systems filter aggressively. They miss the tone shifts. They ignore emotional gaps, they simplify. However, your system doesn't, it retains the full signal. You don't just hear the conversation. You experience it. That means more information, more context, more emotional data. And processing more data costs you more energy. Your brain isn't weak for this. If anything, you can think of it as a high-resolution system. And high-resolution systems have to consume much more power. Here's something important to note. This exhaustion doesn't start in thought. It starts in the body. Your nervous system stays slightly activated during misaligned interactions, not enough to trigger anxiety. Not enough to cause panic. But just enough to prevent rest. So even when you think, oh, I feel okay, your body is still alert and working. That's why the fatigue hits you later, after the conversation ends. And now that you know this, understand that most people label this incorrectly. They call it introversion, or having social anxiety, or a low social battery. But the issue isn't people, it's constant adjustment. When alignment is present, your energy holds. When alignment is missing, your system compensates. And compensation is expensive. Now we jump onto the topic of solitude. When you're alone, your system stops trying to perform for others. No smiling to signal comfort, no nodding to keep momentum, no guessing what the other person really meant. You don't have to manage this space, you don't have to manage the mood, you don't have to manage yourself. That is why your shoulders drop the moment you close the door. That is why your breathing changes. Your nervous system finally gets permission to return to being yourself. And this is also why certain people feel safe to you. Because around them, you don't have to translate. You don't have to buffer. You can be quiet without it being awkward. You can be serious without being asked what's wrong. You can pause without someone feeling the silence. That is not a personality thing. That is regulation. And now here's something tricky to think about. Some environments look positive, but feel ever so exhausting. The high energy group chat, the constant jokes, sending media to one another, the non-stop talking, the pressure to react, the pressure to laugh, the pressure to match. That is not connection, this comes back to performance. And if you are already the type who notices everything, performing is expensive to you. Because you're not just speaking. You're monitoring how you are being received by your peers. This is why you leave hangouts and think, nothing happened, why am I so drained? Because you were regulating the whole time not with your mind, but with your body. Another reason this confuses you is because the exhaustion is delayed. During the conversation, you might feel fine. You might even look fine. But later, it hits. On the drive home. In the shower. Late at night. Suddenly you don't want to talk. Suddenly your brain feels heavy. That doesn't mean something went wrong. It means your system is coming down. From constant regulation. Like holding a weight. With your arm extended. You don't feel the burn immediately. You feel it afterwards. Now this doesn't mean you need to cut everyone off. It means you need to set boundaries that fit your nervous system. Regulate the time you hang out, take more quality time with the closest people in your circle. And attend more quiet spaces. More breaks before you reach exhaustion. It also means you stop forcing yourself to be a fake version of you. Because that version costs you. Here's a simple test after spending time with someone. Ask yourself, do you feel more like yourself? Or do you feel like you need to recover from being yourself? That answer tells you everything. So if certain conversations leave you drained even when nothing went wrong, now you know why. You're not antisocial, you're not cold, you're not broken. Your nervous system is doing exactly what it's designed to do. It pays attention, it protects balance, it restores itself. If this video felt accurate and helped you understand yourself, you can subscribe for more content like this one. Leave a comment, and if you're comfortable, tell me a bit about your experience. I do my best to read every comment, and I genuinely like to hear your perspective. The next video will be up soon and explores more psychology. Have a wonderful day and take care of yourself.